All right. Hello, everybody. I guess thank you for suffering with me today. Today, I actually am suffering a little bit. I'm suffering every day, but that's besides the point. Anyways, so this has to do with the topic of transphobia. So I don't really have a problem with trans people. I don't support the trans community, but I don't not support them either. I'm just neutral. I don't really care. You know, you can do whatever you want in your bedroom. You can identify as whatever you want. I personally believe that there are actually only two genders. If you either have both or you have neither, then you're genetically deformed. I don't think that people who are deformed should be made fun of. If people choose to be, transgender, then cool. It's your body, it's your life. You can do whatever you want with it. But a lot of these people will like you have the crazy ones will freak out if you misgender them or misidentify them. Now, I did encounter one. He was perfectly normal. His name was right here, Pluto. Pluto, if you look at Pluto's profile, happy transgender awareness, they, them. It's just a regular transgender. Pluto seemed perfectly fine. Pluto didn't freak out or react, but the mods did. Let me see if I can find it here. It's just above here. All right, yeah, see, didn't have to sprinkle in a transphobic joke. So they're considering my joke to be transphobic. Oh, okay. I didn't see this ad, so maybe this is. All right. So where did this start? Soup in a blanket. If you have them, I think. So did. Okay, I was talking about cyborgs. Somewhere around here, I think. Did they mention? Oh, right. Yeah. So this person right here, John Berger Helldiver. Hello, everyone. How are y'all? Tired and cold still, despite the other two times it's been asked. Now, of course, it's been asked to everybody, but this dude keeps responding, or this they them keeps responding. I got to make sure to use the correct pronouns. But the John Berger guy, I think, yeah, do it for the love of democracy. Others will think I hate them. Well, I didn't read all of this. Then I gotta explain that I don't hate them. I just don't care to answer. And see, that's the thing, though. They answered, but then they say they don't care to answer. So if you don't care to answer, why are you answering when they're asking everybody, not specifically you? I just thought that was odd. So I'm giving them advice on how to warm up. See, in all seriousness, sleep in a blanket, because my first thing was about stims, because I was doing the Helldiver joke, because I like to make jokes. And then, yeah, here, they do it for the love of democracy, they, them programs. He said, my bad, forgot to check. And it's like, okay, so I thought he was correcting on his pronouns, but he said they. Oh no, he edited. Yeah, he said he, because originally he said he, and then he corrected it to they. He said, my bad, forgot to check. So he's correcting someone on their pronouns. But later he says it's not that big of a deal. I was just correcting you. Like he said, I think he says somewhere in here that people. But like the dude seems like he doesn't really like he corrects him, but he's real chill about it. Or I'm sorry, they correct the hamburger guy, but they are really chill about it. They don't really seem that upset. Now I do say it's not a major issue unless they make it one. You can try to respect them, but I replied to this dude when I was trying to reply to the other dude. But logical people know what real respect looks like, and I was just saying, hey, I get misgendered all the time. I don't really care, so it's not really a big deal unless the person who gets misgendered makes it a serious issue. And I do, of course, logically state that it doesn't bother me because generally. Now, of course, this could be considered rude behavior, but they didn't get on to me about this. They got on me about something else. But I mean, that you'll see what happened in a moment. But yes, here you could consider this to be rude, but this is just reality. This is just me pointing out reality. It's like, hey, if and it is true. It's true. People who freak out about being misgendered don't have more important things in their life to focus on or to care about. they literally freak out over stuff that doesn't actually matter because they don't have anything important going on in their lives. And that's not an insult. It's just, I mean, I guess it can be used as an insult. But anyways, that's just reality. Like, just find something important to focus on in your life, and that stuff will matter significantly less to you. It's just a fact of life. And see, this dude seems, this is the internet. Everything is a slight against a person 100%. See, this dude is just joking. So I pointed up. I'm like, true. So Pluto took it as a joke. Pluto was cool with all this. Also had people piss themselves from anger when I correct them. Mods have literally gotten involved because people refuse to use my preferred pronouns. And if you notice, I don't have I don't know why I'm still able to see the general chat. Right now I'm in detention because I've been blocked, and I'll show you those private messages. But first I need to go through all this because I'm pretty sure I won't be able to access this after I click away from it. But yeah, Pluto's like, yeah, I'm chill, but mods and other people always fight for me and they get upset. And John Berger goes off into something else. Now this I didn't actually see or read. You trying to tell someone they shouldn't be correcting people when they use the wrong pronouns, or am I misinterpreting you? Yes, Sylvian, obviously you're misinterpreting me. That was your misinterpretation. I didn't even read this, but yeah, I didn't respond to that because I didn't realize that they'd said that. But yeah, Sylvain misinterpreted me, and I think Sylvain was the one that was in my private messages who would. I'm not sure if they're the one who initiated the thing. But you see, Pluto's already moved on. Pluto doesn't really care. But like, in all honesty, okay. See this right here. Yeah, it's a big mess regardless of which route you take. So it doesn't really matter if you try to, it doesn't matter what you say or do. It ends up being a big mess because of people like these mods. Which again, I don't know if Commissar was actually involved himself, but I do see that he's online. What I understand, he's always online at like 3 a.m. by my time, but it looks like he's online right now. And of course, I decided to be humorous. I tried to make a joke. Now, my joke was probably in bad taste. The two standards, and because I am someone who, again, as I logically believe that there are two genders, but I'm not going to force my belief system on anybody else, and that's why I said three genders, the two standards, and of course the unified Apache helicopter. And this dude says, I see a mod typing, never mind, which mods type in the chat all the time, they just act normally. When people wish to identify me as, because like I said, I don't care. Like I said, in the call center, people call me ma'am all the time, and I'm like, all right, cool, because I don't care. So I thought it was a joke, but and like I said, the dude who is, or the they them who is transgender doesn't even care. It's the mods that freaked out. Mods already here, good lol. You didn't have to sprinkle in, and see now they're calling it a transphobic joke. They're specifically claiming that it's a transphobic joke. And of course, I was still joking. I was typing out this joke when this popped up in front of right before I hit enter. Most people just call me a shadow because my name's Lord Shadowfang. No clue why that was the joke. Pretending like I don't know why they call me Shadow. Obviously, my name's Shadowfang. I'm obviously a Helldiver. So you said you didn't have to sprinkle in a transphobic joke. I said a transphobic joke. Interesting, because I just at the time I just didn't know how to respond to that. Apparently, I was being claimed to have made a transphobic joke. I would scroll up to the start of the interaction too. Just aborting your current line of action. So here's where I throw in the question mark now. See, this is very threatening. It's like, I suggest aborting your current line of actions now. My actions are so easy to respect. Even a brick-eating diver like myself can understand. Also, can I get another round of lipids? Yeah, see? It's pretty easy to respect people's pronouns. If they ask for their pronouns to be respected, it's not that difficult. You just gotta kind of train yourself to speak a little differently. It's not that big of a deal. If you can't respect pronouns, then I didn't read this either. If you can't respect pronouns, then I don't know, maybe this place ain't for you. Recommend changing the topic. I didn't even read that. And then I noticed that a lot of people are suddenly, a couple of people had added, when I saw the two people added me, just been added twice now, and the horse is very aggressive. And he said, no, we just told you to move on, so please do that. And then this dude gets all aggressive, move on now. And it's like, okay, at the time, it's like, okay, what the fuck am I being told to move on from? I mean, it's not like I went back and tried to restate it or change the joke. At this point, I'm a little confused. It's like, why is everyone suddenly getting all fucking threatened? I'm literally being insisted to move on from something when I'm not in any line of continual action because I was already in the process of moving on. I had already told other jokes and gone, but people are literally just yelling at me to move on when I haven't not moved on. So I'm a little confused by why they're being super fucking aggressive in the most disrespectful fashion possible. If I'm not mistaken, they're both mods too. That seems suspicious, but sure. Do I get randomly punished for this message? Seriously, if you got a problem, solve it at home. Don't target me with it, because whatever fucking problems they've got going on shouldn't really have anything to do with me. All I did was tell a joke, and if the joke was in bad taste, then cool, I won't tell it again or anything similar. I've literally been in this server for a long time and haven't made any kind of joke that's pissed anybody off so far, so... And I do read the rules. I've read the fucking rules. And all they're doing is telling me to move on, but I haven't done anything to not move on. Proceed forward. Right, okay. So I can just proceed. What part of not move on did you not understand? Either drop it immediately or you can go sit in timeout. And if you notice, they put me in timeout. Regardless of, I don't, all they're doing is just saying, move on, move on, move the fuck on! And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And then they punish me. I'm like, instead of telling me to move on, maybe you should say something like, hey, maybe just just don't talk about that particular topic, even though I'm not the one that brought up the subject, but say, hey, we don't want to talk about that topic here. It's like politics, it's taboo. They could have worded it better, but also maybe I could have understood it better. But anyways, so they just start. It's like a group of people standing around and you shouting, "Move on, move on, move on!" They're all adding me and saying, "Move on, move the fuck on!" And I'm like, bro, I wasn't even not moving. I literally wasn't not moving on. I wasn't at the point of not moving on. So the only thing I was stuck on was why they were yelling at me to move on, and not on the actual subject or topic itself. So now I got both of these at literally the exact same time. I got my warning and muted at the exact same time. I never got warned and then muted. I received both of them at the exact same time. I received this one, and then 3 seconds later, I received this one while I was typing this out. And of course, I'm not sure. I don't know if they were labeling me as transphobic or the joke is transphobic. But I was falsely told that I'm continuing a subject that I didn't continue, and which means that the problem has obviously made itself clear. These people are literally attacking me and falsely accusing me of being transphobic, which I'm not. I don't give a shit, and I do respect people's pronouns, but these people are literally attacking me and falsely accusing me of not respecting people's pronouns because they're too fucking stupid. Now, what I can insult you on is the fact that your IQ is so fucking incredibly low that you don't understand basic fucking English. But, yeah. So, yeah, you need to, straight phobic, that was probably unnecessary for me to say that, but I mean, they are literally attacking me for... I didn't even say that I don't support transgender people. I didn't. They're literally just attacking me for no fucking reason. It's not my problem if you can't take a joke, but if it's in bad taste, maybe worded as such. I didn't think that it was a bad joke, but I mean, obviously they consider it a bad joke, and so I'm not gonna make a joke like that anymore, I guess. And I didn't say any, I was talking about, I had already moved on from the subject, but then they literally started yelling at me to stop moving on, to move on when I had already fucking moved on. But I didn't mention anything else involving the joke, and was still punished, and of course that's called lying. They are literally punishing me falsely. So I guess I could try to make a ticket here. Apparently there's two people. And see, look, it's multiple fucking. I don't even know if this was one of the dudes. This dude sent me these messages. I don't know. I don't know who Ghost Enforcer is or who Lunar the Goob is. But yeah, and then I don't even know if they realize what they're doing. I mean, I feel like they would realize what they're doing, considering this is literally just them ganging up on me and attacking me for a joke that I made. But I mean, if you're insulted by this, then it's your fucking problem. Obviously, I'm not going to try to insult people, so I'm more than happy to not make that joke again. But the dude that I was joking with, that I was talking to, didn't even get insulted by this. The mods jumped in and got insulted by it. Now, if depending on what the rules say, that means we both would have broken the rules. I don't. I have to check the rules real quick. I've read them, but I know they've changed a couple times since, and it's been a while since I've read them. So, yeah, don't be a jerk. I never am. Communication, inspirations, team play. Stay in your lane. No spam. Keep it clean. No NSFW. English only. No creeping in DMs. Keep politics. Okay, so it might be a breaking of Rule 8. Mods are your command. Monsters, enforcers, and Viper commandos have the final say. Trying to loophole your way around the rules. Didn't do that. Self promo, I haven't done that. Okay, so the only rule that I might be breaking is political debates. If trans, I don't pretty sure transgender isn't political. Well, I guess there's a thing called identity politics. So I might have broken Rule 8. But if I broke Rule 8, then that means the other dude broke Rule 8. Well, no, all he did was ask me, yeah, I might have broken Rule 8. Okay. So that means this ban will be legit. But they didn't really say what rule I broke. They said that I was broke Rule 11. All right, let's see if I can copy and paste all this. But yeah, that's obviously I mean, it's a misunderstanding. Whether it was intentionally misunderstood or not, I have no clue. Like I said, it. I don't know. It could have just been a misunderstanding by people with lesser intelligence, but it's definitely interesting. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Shady is also of the Lady Shady. I don't know if they're part of the transgender group, but like I said, if you've got good reading comprehension and you understand that I'm not that kind of person, but these might just be newer mods, and maybe they think that I'm. I mean, I did take a very aggressive defense, so it might be just a misunderstanding. But I've been in situations like this where people have very intentionally tried to twist the things that I've said and done. So but I can see how, like, if I look at it from if I try to look at it from a different perspective than my own, I can see how this could be misunderstood, how this could be a misunderstanding. I didn't try to do any like they claim that the rule that I broke was rule 11 of oh Shady's the one in here. Okay, yeah, understandable. Yeah, I didn't know. The one person that ever views my channel is Shady during like I said. I said earlier. I don't know if Shady was here when I said that. I don't think Commissar himself is involved, and honestly, I did get pretty aggressive with my defense. I feel like I thought it for me it was just a regular joke. If it was in bad taste, I can just not make the joke again. But I was a little caught off guard by the fact that they gave me the warning and then the mute back to back, literally a few seconds apart. And the mute says that I broke rule 11 of not moving on, but the thing that I was essentially not moving on from was the fact that they were telling me not to move on, but I had already moved on. Like I'd already started to go off into other, like I was already saying jokes about myself, and I was about like I wasn't planning on staying on the subject, and then they all just started shouting it, like, well, not shouting at me, but I mean like you can't shout when texting, but they essentially just started texting me, move on, move on, move on, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck, what's going on? And of course, I went into aggressive defense mode, which was probably a bad idea. But yeah, it just I don't know. And like I said, I mean, if they want to mute me, it's fine. Like Commissar's channel is awesome. I've I've always enjoyed being a part of his community. So it's just one of those things that caught me a little off guard. But like I said, if I look at it from a very very specific perspective, I can see where they got to, the reason that they got to. But they probably just the mods that were interacting with me probably just don't know who I am and thought that I was trying to be disrespectful towards, I guess, transgenders. And I can see why people could take that as an insult. But I mean, even the person was talking to didn't take it as an insult. The mods are the ones who took it as an insult. And the reason for banning me was specifically for not moving on, which isn't actually, from my perspective, isn't actually what happened. I didn't try to reiterate my point. I didn't try to force my perspective on anyone. And based on the way that they're acting, it seems like those mods are trying to force their perspective on me. But I didn't not move on. They all just started shouting at me to move on, and then no, yeah, I know it's just a mute. Like I said, I can just wait it out. I can wait the mute out. It just seemed like it was a little like they got really aggressive really quick, and then I unfortunately returned the aggression. I don't. Can I check mark on YouTube? Wait, this isn't YouTube. This is OBS. I'll just do a hand because I don't know how to. There we go. But yeah, Shady, I can just wait out the mute. It's fine. Um, I just it was very it was, like I said, it was just kind of caught me off guard. I was just telling a joke, and apparently some of them thought I because I still had if you look at the beginning of the stream, it still had me on general chat, and I was still able to see it until I actually clicked on one of these until I clicked on the detention rules, and then I lost sight of it. But I was able to look back through all the chat, and I saw a couple of people thinking that maybe I was disrespecting transgenders, and that's not exactly what my intentions were. Okay, it like I said, it doesn't really matter to me. It's all good, and I can try to. I wonder if it's possible to blur everything on the video after the stream. But yeah, see, Commissar Kai's channel is great. Commissar Kai is a cool guy. I think if I'm not mistaken, Shady is like his head moderator or something. They're pretty cool over there. Like I said, this is the only bad incident I've ever had, and it's not even. It might even be completely fair what they did. Like I said, I was just completely caught off guard by it. But hey, you know it is what it is. If I was if it was a bad if it was a joke in bad taste, just let me know and I won't do it again. But you know whatever. Humanity in general is stupid though, so I wouldn't be surprised if that applied to any of your mods. I will for now retract the statement, but because I mean I don't really know any of you guys personally, so I can't say whether you are or are not. But I just know that in general humans tend to be pretty fucking stupid. So that's just something that I apply unanimously to everyone. I just feel that people are generally not very intelligent. But I mean that's I guess that applies to me too, since I was a little slow on. Because at first I was only thinking of things from my perspective, and it took me a minute to start thinking, you know, is it possible? And it is possible, but I feel like you'd have to be looking at this as, but I mean, I guess as mods, you guys are. It's like being the police. You know, you guys are always on the lookout for threats, and so if they are people who don't know me personally, it would make sense that they would. Yeah, so it's. I can understand why they may have thought that I was attempting to cause problems. So yeah, it kind of makes sense if I think about it from another perspective than my own. So but yeah, I started streaming immediately. That way I could get like all the information, like the private messages and everything, just shown. But I'm also revealing like a whole bunch of other stuff, like people on my fucking friends list. Maybe I just pull this off to the side now. There we go. Oh, I haven't emptied my recycling bin. Right, yeah, I had to delete my game guard. I was trying to get Helldivers 2 to work, and I deleted my game guard folder. That was the only thing in there. My streams are never entertaining. I'm not I'm not a funny guy. Not as much as I'd like to be. Yeah, that was the mods dogpiling me was kind of what caught me off guard there. But yeah, like my opinion is, that there are two genders, and if you want to switch between genders, that's fine, and if you want to be identified as something else, that's fine. But like in terms of like biologicalness, there are basically only two genders. That's like my official opinion. But I wasn't trying to like force my opinion on other people. I was just stating that that was my opinion, but also threw in a joke as well, because the Apache helicopter is a meme. There are a lot of people who've identified as an Apache helicopter, and that's always been a joke on the internet. So I thought that that would be funny, but apparently, yeah, the joke was in poor taste, as I have come to find out after the fact. But yeah, that's generally my whole thing. Like anytime I'm on your all's channel, I role play and I tell jokes. That's like all I do. I don't. I'm not normally in the habit of just randomly insulting people. And the dude that I was talking to, or I'm sorry, the person, the individual that I was talking to, the they them didn't even care. They just moved on. They didn't care. It was the mods that like freaked out. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah, they were trying to claim that it was transgender or it was transphobic. I'm not transphobic, and my joke wasn't intended to be transphobic, but apparently it was. So that ended up being the thing that they were wanting me to move on from. And I didn't try to justify the joke or anything. I was just like, "Whoa, what the fuck are you guys all pinging me for? What am I supposed to be moving on from?" And instead of saying you need to move on from the really bad joke you made, we don't like it, we don't want to hear that here. Instead of explaining anything in private messages or in the chat or anywhere, they just said, "We told you to move on, man. What the fuck don't you understand about that?" Yeah. So yeah, I was a little bit upset by that, which is why I started immediately streaming. I was like, all right, I need to gather evidence. But like I said, Commissar Kai's channel is pretty awesome. Like I said, this is the first bad experience I've had, and I've been on here for I think almost a whole year. I've been on here for quite a while, so I think it's I think it's it's acceptable. It was just a misunderstanding. I will probably never touch the subject of transgender on the server at all ever again due to this. Just simply because it doesn't seem like anyone is happy about the subject at all whatsoever in any standard. Jokes of this type are not allowed. But yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it and it's like, I guess identity politics count as political commentary, but they didn't really reference Rule 8. But when I looked through the rules while I was in timeout, I saw that and I was like, it might count as that, but no one ever referenced it, so I wasn't. But yeah, so if identity politics count as politics, but how since you are currently in my chat, how exactly does that oh, I have to check the ticket. How do I check the ticket? Do you close the ticket? Do I close the ticket? How do I close the ticket? Do I like slash close? Maybe are there rules for how to let's see here? Certain features for kind of reporting mod. Yeah, I was considering reporting the mods, but it doesn't. Yeah, based on it seems like it was just a misunderstanding. How do I close the ticket? Support ticket. No, actually assign ticket, so one will reach out to you when you're available. Consider channels. The ticket tool create a channel to describe the nature of the assistance with very seriously. Joke tickets or make tickets to not discuss anything with this waste of time. Yeah, we're good. You can close it. I do have a question for you while you're in the chat though. Like in terms of he was just if if identity politics are considered politics, then wouldn't I assume that someone asking people to use the correct pronouns would not count as politics? But then how far would that go? I just don't under. my logic brain can't handle this, but I'll just avoid identity politics as well as other politics. Alrighty, so I will readjust. I will recalibrate myself. I guess that's, if the entire stream was about this issue, then I guess that's it for the stream. Thank you for helping me out with this, and sorry for, apparently I caused a disruption unintentionally, and yeah, sure, let's close the stream. I'm gonna close the stream. Thank you for watching or something. I still don't have an outro. My intro is like, thank you for suffering with me today, but I'll see you in the lounge.